At number 10, Rihanna and Travis Scott. Here's a celeb hookup that might surprise you because it certainly surprised me when I found out. Rihanna and Travis Scott reportedly dated back in 2015, though their relationship story is a little foggy and confusing since they never wanted anyone to find out about it in the first place. Everything was super hush-hush, so don't tell anybody I told you this. Basically, their friends with benefits / actual relationship took place about 6 years or so ago, and neither of them outright confirmed their relationship. When Travis was asked about Rihanna in an interview, he described her as being his muse and seemed to have had very passionate feelings for her, though he never chose to make these things public. He actually got incredibly upset when a magazine published details about him and Rihanna because they were told not to release those details, but they went against his wishes and they did it anyway. You'd think that with that sort of reaction, it was Travis who wanted to keep his fling on the DL, but it was actually Rihanna who wanted everything to be a secret because apparently she was embarrassed to be with him. The details as to who was the one who broke things off in the end remained a mystery, but we do know that things ended in 2016, shortly before Travis was linked to Kylie Jenner. At number 9, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. Looks like this celebrity fling was as juicy as it was on screen. After keeping this little hookup a secret for quite some time, Shia LaBeouf finally spilled the beans, so to speak, after revealing that he had a little romance with his Transformers co-star Megan Fox back in the day. In 2011, Shia revealed in an interview that he had a brief entanglement with the actress, saying that being on set and portraying two people in love caused their personal lives and work lives to become a little blurred. Shia was said to have been very protective of Megan while they were together, even having an outburst in a convenience store and hopping behind the counter to have a physical confrontation with an employee who was allegedly rude to Megan. To make things even juicier, this romance was apparently going on during the time that Megan and Brian Austin Green were allegedly engaged, so this was quite the entanglement. Years later, Megan said that she was in love with Shia at the time, confirming their brief fling. At number 8, Michael Cera and Aubrey Plaza. If you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, then you're familiar with how the character Julie Powers isn't too fond of Scott Pilgrim. Well, it might come as a surprise to you to find out that the actors who portrayed Julie and Scott in the 2010 film are very different from their counterparts on screen in the sense that they certainly don't hate each other, and they actually dated for some time around the release of the movie. Michael Cera and Aubrey Plaza met on the set of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and they ended up dating for about a year and a half. Things were pretty serious between them as they almost got married too. When Aubrey was a guest star on RuPaul's Drag Race back in 2016, she told Ru about her relationship with Michael, saying, quote, "We drove across the country after we shot that movie and almost got married in Vegas." Aubrey also opened up saying that she and Michael remain on good terms even though their romantic relationship didn't exactly work out. Their relationship remained pretty secret until after things were over between them, so we didn't really get to live through the Scott and Julie shipping like we would have liked to, but hey, they come and they go. At number 7, Taylor Swift. Now this next one I'm sure you were familiar with because there was so much drama going on between fan bases it was hard to miss. For a brief time between 2012 and 2013, Harry Styles and Taylor Swift were a couple. We don't really know that much about their relationship because it was kept so private, but there are images captured by paparazzi that confirm that they were together. The most information we have about their time together came after their breakup though, because this is where the drama began, but in song form of course. It is believed that there is somewhere between 4 and 6 songs about this relationship released by both Harry and Taylor. Many fans believe that the songs Style, Out of the Woods, I Knew You Were Trouble, and I Wish You Would, all by Taylor Swift, are about Harry in some way or another. Fans think that the release of these songs is what prompted Harry to release a few songs of his own about Taylor. It is thought that the songs Perfect and Two Ghosts are about Taylor Swift. Though not much is known about their time together, fans did get a handful of bangers out of this little entanglement. Before we carry on talking about the juicy hookups that Harry Styles had, why not take a moment to leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this one. At number 6, Chord Overstreet and Emma Watson. Now there's not much information on this relationship because it was kept so private, but there's word that Chord Overstreet and Emma Watson were an item for a little while back in 2018. In early 2018, it was rumored that Chord and Emma were seeing each other, but when this news broke, their relationship was still fairly new and there wasn't much to say about it other than rumors and speculation. They were first spotted together at a concert in February of 2018, and then later at an Oscars viewing party the following month. Not long after the news of their apparent relationship broke, they were seen again holding hands, and this sort of sealed the deal for most people, though again, nothing was really confirmed. But then things seem to have just fizzled out and died as the reports came out saying that the two had broken up after 6 months of dating. Less than a month after that, they were seen together again, and there was speculation that they had gotten back together, but again, nothing was ever confirmed. Emma is known to try and keep her private life private, so that could be the reason why this relationship mostly flew under the radar, but it's still something surprising to note. At number 5, Amy Poehler and John Stamos. Back in 2014, actress and comedian Amy Poehler dished about her experience getting back into the dating pool after she separated from her husband Will Arnett. She told Howard Stern in an interview about how things were a little confusing getting back into dating and how she once had gone out with none other than Uncle Jesse himself, John Stamos. Amy told Howard how she and John had worked on a film together, and that at some point during the time they were working together, John had asked Amy to go to dinner. Apparently there was some confusion around that because Amy told Howard during her interview that she didn't think that her dinner with John was really a date and that she was all confused about it all. But later on, a few months later, after Amy's interview, John was asked about this date confusion and he said that the dinner was in fact a date. Basically, there was a lot of confusion and uncertainty and no doubt a little bit of awkwardness as well. At number 4 is Sharon Osbourne and Jay Leno. When you picture Sharon Osbourne, you can't really see her without her other half, Ozzy, but there was once a time before Ozzy came along and you won't believe who she dated. In 2013, Sharon admitted to having a quote, flingy-wingy with Jay Leno. Sharon revealed on an episode of The Talk that when she was 25, before she started seeing Ozzy, she had moved to America and was working at a place that was quote, full of men. One day she met a man who turned out to be Jay Leno, and Sharon and her friend decided to prank call him one evening. Well, this prank call ended up turning into a full-blown conversation and then a little bit more. Elaborating on the situation, Sharon said, quote, he came to my house and he met me and he had a little fling. And the fling was more a fling for me and not a fling enough for him. Because a couple months into it, he brought around his real love of his life for me to meet, and she was lovely, and they took me to Fatburger and they showed me around town. It was brief and Sharon went on to marry Ozzy anyway, but it's so fun to learn that these two celebrities had a fling. At number 3, Camille Rowe. One of Harry Styles' more recent relationships was with Victoria's Secret model Camille Rowe a couple years back from 2017 to 2018. Fans were quick to catch on to this relationship as some of the most invested fans noticed Harry's voice in the background of one of Camille's Instagram stories. This relationship seemed to be a little more serious than ones in the past, as it was said that Harry introduced Camille to his family. They were also seen being cute out in public as Harry was spotted carrying Camille's purse. Unfortunately though, Harry and Camille ended up breaking up after about a year together. Even though their relationship ended, they still seemed pretty close, as they were spotted by one of Harry's fans having lunch together in LA, giving the fan base a little hope that the couple would be getting back together. Unfortunately for the fans though, that never ended up happening. At number 2, Johnny Depp and Jennifer Grey. All people can talk about in regards to Johnny Depp these days is his awful experience with Amber Heard and the drama surrounding that, but Amber obviously isn't the only one Johnny has been with. Johnny has also been linked to Vanessa Paradis, with whom he has 2 kids, and he was also married to Lori-Ann Allison back in the 80s, and there are a number of other celebrities he's dated, but there's another star that the actor dated that not everyone knows about. Johnny Depp had a pretty serious relationship with actress Jennifer Grey back in the day. The two Hollywood stars only dated for about a year, but things were serious enough for Johnny to propose to Jennifer in 1989. They were set to get married the following year, but clearly that never happened. They really kept their relationship super secret, so there aren't many details about their fling other than the fact that it happened, but it's still something that not many people know about. I wonder what happened between them. And finally, at number 1, Tom Cruise and Cher. This next celebrity fling surprised me the most, so let me know if this one caught you by surprise as well. Back in the 80s, Tom Cruise and Cher were an item. I had no clue that they were ever together, but apparently it's true. Apparently Tom and Cher first met at Madonna and Sean Penn's wedding, and they sort of hit it off. Though there was a 16-year age gap between them, that didn't stop them from having a little fling. Cher reportedly told James Corden that Tom was one of her top 5 lovers, so clearly things were pretty good between them, right? The singer also told Oprah Winfrey that Tom could have been a quote, great big romance if they hadn't been forced to break things off due to their busy schedules. They're apparently still pretty good friends, and part of me wishes that I could have seen this romance between them because it sounds like it was something incredible. At number 10, Nicole Kidman and Lenny Kravitz. I can't imagine how hard it would be to hide a relationship as a celebrity. Being a public figure like some of the stars on this list has its drawbacks because the public is always watching you at all times, so to hide your private life successfully seems like it would be a bit of a challenge. Some celebrities are able to do that pretty well, and Nicole Kidman and Lenny Kravitz are some of the best at hiding things because they were able to hide their pretty serious relationship back in the day. Nicole and Lenny seem like two people who wouldn't really run into each other, but apparently they were a lot closer than we thought. Shortly after Nicole divorced from her ex-husband Tom Cruise, Nicole was actually renting a place from Lenny Kravitz, and that's how they met. The two became pretty close and they eventually started seeing each other. Nicole later revealed that there was a time where she, Lenny, and Zoe Kravitz were, quote, all sort of living together. It wasn't until years later that the public found out just how serious Nicole and Lenny's relationship was, as Nicole once said in an interview that she was engaged to Lenny at one point. Obviously, things didn't quite work out, but the fact that they were able to hide a serious relationship, engagement, and breakup without anyone finding out is actually pretty impressive, and also explains why a lot of people had no clue about this celebrity hookup. At number 9, Zachary Quinto and Jonathan Groff. Raise your hand if you had no idea that Zachary Quinto and Jonathan Groff were once an item. This is another couple I had no idea about before researching this video, and I'm kind of sad that I missed out on it. Zachary and Jonathan were in a relationship for around a year or so, and they seem to have kept their love life pretty private. They didn't even go public with their breakup either, so there weren't really any juicy details as to what really happened. It's believed that work and distance is what made them grow apart and end things, but they seemingly ended things on pretty good terms with no hostility or negativity. A source close to the couple at the time confirmed the news of their split, saying, quote, Zach being far away and filming was not easy on them. They really loved each other, so it wasn't an easy split. It just ran its course. The couple went public with their relationship back in 2012 when Zachary did an interview with Out magazine about a year or so after he publicly came out as gay. At number 8, Drew Barrymore and Christian Bale. So it turns out that Hollywood stars Drew Barrymore and Christian Bale once had a tiny little fling of sorts, and basically no one knew about it. Back in 2012, Christian revealed in an interview with GQ Australia how he was once tied to Drew and that it did not end well. In the interview, Christian said that he once went on a date with the actress, and after their evening, she completely ghosted him. Going into detail about the ordeal, Christian said, quote, we went to see some bloody awful horror film, and that was the end of it. She never called again. To make things a little juicier, Drew was later asked about her failed date with Christian in 2015 during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, and host Andy Cohen asked why she ghosted the actor, to which she replied saying, quote, I don't know. He was super nice. I wasn't like super boy crazy. I had a lot of fish to fry. Like I had big problems in my world for many years. Like in good ways. Things you gotta overcome. Boys are like very secondary. I seriously wonder what would have happened had their date been successful. Do you think they would still be together? At number 7, Janet Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. Alright, we've got another surprising celebrity hookup, this one including the man, the myth, the legend, Matthew McConaughey, and the amazing queen herself, Janet Jackson. Now, I had no idea that these two used to be an item, but it turns out that they were, but only for a very brief moment. These two decided to give their love a try back in the early 2000s, but they weren't compatible at all, and they only lasted about one date before pulling the plug on whatever fling was going on between them. The pair met back in February 2002 at the Grammy Awards and reportedly hit it off after that first encounter. They went on a date shortly afterwards, but as Matthew would later admit years later, things just fizzled out after that one date. They decided that they would just be friends, and that's where they left things. Both went on to have other relationships and never looked back, but it still makes for a very interesting secret celebrity hookup. At number 6, Megan Fox and Robert Pattinson. In part 1 of this series, I talked about how Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox had a secret fling, but apparently Megan reportedly had another secret hookup with fellow Hollywood star Robert Pattinson. According to someone who worked with Megan on the set of the film Jennifer's Body in 2009, Megan reportedly hooked up with Robert one night. The source also claimed that, quote, Megan was totally into Rob and thought he was really cute, but nothing went further than that one night they were together. He totally blew blew her off. Both Meghan and Robert shut down these rumors, but maybe there really was something between them one night. We may never really know for sure. At number 5, Georgia Fowler. After a handful of other relationships and hookups, Harry Styles moved on to having a relatively short-lived relationship with New Zealand-based model Georgia Fowler back in 2015. Fans found out about their little fling when Georgia posted a video of the two of them playing Scrabble on her Snapchat.
No, that's where I need to go.
Though their time together was brief, fans have suspected that Harry's song Kiwi is about Georgia because Kiwi is a common nickname for people from New Zealand. This suspicion has never been confirmed, and when asked about the song, Georgia has expressed confusion as to why people have associated her with the song, as she said in an interview, quote, "Really don't know anything about it. Definitely don't have a baby. That's what the song is about." End quote. What do you guys think? Could the song be about her? At number 4, Ashely Olsen and Lance Armstrong. Here's a juicy little story about forbidden love. Well, not really, but it's a little spicy. You see, actress and fashion designer Ashely Olsen and former professional cyclist Lance Armstrong had a bit of a fling in 2007, and very few people were on board with it. They started seeing each other a few weeks after Lance broke up with fashion designer Tory Burch, and sources say that Ashely and Lance were infatuated with each other. The two were spotted on a date at the Rose Bar in the Gramercy Park Hotel, and they were seen macking on each other and then later leaving together in the early hours of the morning. Because there was a 15-year age difference, the people closest to Lance advised the cyclist to stop seeing Ashely over fears that this relationship and the large age difference would ruin his career. Ironic. Lance tried to fight for his infatuation with Ashely, but things just ended up fizzling out a couple months later. At number 3, Lea Michele and Matthew Morrison. TV and Broadway actress Lea Michele was known for having had a serious relationship with the late Corey Monteith, but it seems as though Corey wasn't the only Glee star that she was in a relationship with. In Lea's 2014 book, Brunette Ambition, she wrote about her experience on Glee, shooting the show's pilot, and revealing that before meeting the rest of the cast, she had already worked with Jenna Urshiewicz and Matthew Morrison on Broadway, and saying, quote, "Matt had been a friend of mine for years, and in fact, we'd actually dated back in the day for a Broadway beat." During the filming of Glee, there were apparently some rumors saying that she and Matthew were getting a little romantic because they were so close, but she shut down those rumors, saying that there was nothing romantic between them, and that they were just friends. There isn't really much information as to how long they dated and what made them end things. All we know is that it was very brief, so I guess you can just draw your own conclusions. At number 2, Kim Kardashian and Nick Lachey. Did you know that Kim Kardashian and Nick Lachey dated? Back in 2006, after splitting from his ex Jessica Simpson, Nick got his rebound game on with Kim K, who at the time was still a nobody in terms of fame. In an interview, Nick shared some details about his relationship with Kim Kardashian, where he claimed that Kim used him for fame because at this time, she was only known as Paris Hilton's assistant. During the interview, Nick said, quote, "Let's just say this. We went to a movie, no one followed us there. Somehow, mysteriously, when we left, there were 30 photographers waiting outside. There are certain ways to play this game, and some people play it well." In a way, Kim admitted that being linked to Nick worked well in terms of getting her notoriety, as she wrote in her 2010 book, Kardashian Confidential, that after dating Nick, paparazzi started calling her name when she was out. And finally, at number 1, Scarlett Johansson and Justin Timberlake. It is rumored that Scarlett Johansson and Justin Timberlake have gotten pretty close in the past and have hooked up in secret on a few occasions. Their secret relationship of sorts reportedly began after they worked together on Justin's music video for What Goes Around Comes Around, where Scarlett played Justin's love interest. Sources have also said that the pair got very close with each other back in 2011 while Justin was dating Jessica Biel. Some sources reported that after having a wild night on the town, party hopping in New York, Justin was seen headed straight for Scarlett's apartment. Now again, nothing is confirmed, but nothing's been denied either, so what do you guys think? At number 8, Caroline Flack. When Harry Styles was still a rising star on the X Factor, he had his first celebrity hookup. Though it may have been fun in the beginning, it also ultimately led to Harry being in his first scandal. Again, quite early on in his career. He completely bounced back from it, but at the time, this sneaky link was big news. Back when Harry was on the X Factor, he developed a crush on the show's presenter, Caroline Flack. Caroline wrote about this little crush in her autobiography, Storm in a Sea Cup, where she revealed that Harry's crush on her was no secret, saying, quote, "I already knew that he had a crush on me. He made it pretty obvious. He said it in magazines, and he said it to his friends." end quote. Ultimately, they started dating when Harry was 17 and Caroline was 31. All was well with them until suddenly things got complicated. One day, paparazzi captured images of Harry leaving Caroline's house and a scandal began. Caroline shared her thoughts on what happened next in her book, writing, quote, "It began to go wrong when Harry was pictured coming out of my house one morning. And once that was out, it was open season. After that, anyone could say anything. In the street, people started shouting at me." End quote. Things got so bad that Caroline even started receiving threats from One Direction fans, ultimately ending her relationship with Harry. At number 7, Macaulay Culkin and Mila Kunis. Did you know about Macaulay Culkin and Mila Kunis' nearly decade-long relationship? Because apparently not very many people were aware that these two dated. The pair dated for about 8 years, spanning from 2002 to 2011, before finally calling it quits. Mila said that she and Macaulay sort of grew up together because they got together when they were pretty young. Mila was 18 and Macaulay was 21, spending their early adulthood together. Apparently, their relationship first started out as a long-distance relationship, as Mila was working on That 70s Show in California while Macaulay was living in New York. When they broke up, there was speculation that cheating was involved, since it was rumored that the split was not amicable and took a heavy toll on Macaulay. It was alleged that Mila cheated on Macaulay with her 70s Show co-star Ashton Kutcher, but regardless of the rumors, the two remain on bad terms and are reportedly no longer friends after their messy split. Both Macaulay and Mila have moved on with other partners, so maybe now it's all water under the bridge. At number 6, Nicole Scherzinger. Now, this next hookup doesn't have much information to it, but it's pretty juicy, and it's one celebrity hookup that I never knew about, so I had to include it on this list. Back in 2013, the Sun publication reported that Harry Styles had allegedly hooked up with Pussycat Dolls singer Nicole Scherzinger. Nicole was a judge on the X Factor back when Harry was on the show back in 2010, and so that's where people think things started between the two. When this alleged hookup happened, Harry was 19 while Nicole was 35. Fans thought that this age gap between the two performers was a little strange, while others didn't really see much issue with it since they were both adults. What's your take on this age gap? Is it weird or perfectly fine? Leave your thoughts down in the comments. At number 5, Rihanna and Ashton Kutcher. Here's the tea on this fling, so get your mugs ready. Apparently, Rihanna and Ashton had a little entanglement back in 2012, as the singer was spotted leaving the actor's house in the early hours of the morning back in March of that year. Sources suggested that the two had reportedly had a one-night stand, noting that the singer had arrived at the house around midnight that night and left around 4 a.m. This spotting of sorts confirmed some people's speculation that there was something going on between the two of them, because this wasn't the first time they were seen getting close to one another. According to one source, they had been flirting with each other, texting, and meeting up in hotels. Other sources said that at the time, they were just two single people having fun and saying, quote, "Both of them love having a good time and think they're too busy for anything serious just yet." There was no definite end to this fling, and since it wasn't anything serious, it doesn't really matter, but it's still interesting to find out that these two Hollywood stars were so close at one point. At number 4, Kendall Jenner. This next relationship slash hookup is a little complicated because they were kind of on and off. Kendall Jenner and Harry Styles had a brief relationship back in 2013 when they were spotted having dinner together in LA in November of that year. The couple ended up splitting up a few months later in February 2014, but the following year in 2015, they sparked up their relationship once again after they were spotted spending New Year's together on a yacht. About a week after the couple was spotted together, fan suspicions were confirmed by Kendall's sister Chloe when she told Entertainment Weekly that Kendall and Harry were in fact dating, saying, quote, "Do I think they're dating? Yes. I don't know if they're like boyfriend-girlfriend. Nowadays, I don't know. People are weird with stuff. So I don't know their title." End quote. Not much was seen of the couple after that until they were spotted again a few months later in April 2016 when the pair were seen shopping together in LA. This, however, came about during a time when Kendall was also rumored to be dating Lakers player Jordan Clarkson. After that, things went dark again until October 2016 when they were spotted together one last time while having dinner. Fans thought that this might have been their next attempt at having a relationship, though nothing was ever confirmed. Hilary Duff and Shia LaBeouf. During a 2011 interview, actor Shia LaBeouf revealed that he once went on a date with Lizzie McGuire star Hilary Duff, and he called it the worst date he's ever had. The actor shared some details of his horrible date with Hilary, saying that back in 2002, the pair went on a sushi date, and that the date was so incredibly bad that they never went on another one, and that he and Hilary never spoke again after that day. Shia didn't share any more details to paint a bigger picture of the day, but I can imagine that for them them to never speak again, it must have been really terrible. At number 2, Kiko Mizuhara. Now this next one is more rumor and speculation than anything else, but fans were convinced that Harry Styles had some kind of relationship with Kiko Mizuhara. In early 2019, a rumor started going around suggesting that Harry Styles was dating actress, model, and singer Kiko Mizuhara. When this rumor eventually circled back to Kiko, she tried to shut it down. Kiko took to Twitter to try and tell her fans that there was nothing going on between her and Harry when she said, quote, "It's been reported that Harry Styles and I have been in a relationship, but I have no relationship with him and have never met him. The world is full of fake news. People believe what they want to believe rather than questioning reality." End quote. Despite the tweet, however, fans debunked Kiko's statement as her cover was blown about a month after making that tweet. Kiko was spotted at Harry's 25th birthday party in Tokyo, and there's even video evidence to back it all up. They weren't seen getting too close, but fans were still convinced that there was something going on between the two celebrities. And finally, at number 1, Olivia Wilde. This is Harry's current relationship, and it seems to be going pretty well so far. Rumors of the relationship started back in late 2020 as it got closer while working on Olivia's film Don't Worry Darling after Harry got the part that Shia LaBeouf was fired from. The couple officially confirmed their relationship in early 2021, and those close to them have said that they are going strong. On the topic of their relationship, sources have said, quote, "They have gotten serious quickly and have an intense connection," end quote. Olivia and Harry have been spending a lot of time together. Olivia has been spotted at many of Harry's concerts, dancing and showing support for her man, and they've even been seen traveling together. Over the summer last year, Harry and Olivia were seen vacationing together in southern Italy, and it's also been reported that the couple is renting a house together. Things seem to be going quite well with them, so I hope things continue on a positive path for them.